It's a common gripe amongst mothers of teenage children that their child won't friend them on Facebook. And with an entry age of 13, many Facebook users are just that, children. Engaging in social media, and indeed any online participation, raises issues of privacy, trust and risk, key concerns for parents. In 2010, two media scholars in Turkey, Baru and Soysal, wrote about social media and privacy implications for users. They claimed that social network sites are suitable venues for, quote, self-expression and identity formation, unquote. The play of today is very different from when I was young. Children do not routinely spend unsupervised hours outside the home. They're playing inside and online, and surveillance of children, both online and offline, is pervasive. Australian academic Tonya Rooney argues that increased surveillance may be denying children opportunities to, quote, both trust and be trusted, unquote. I would argue that risk, privacy and trust are crucial elements of human development, and if today's children are playing online, then that is one place where they are going to learn about these concepts, and they need to be allowed to do so in their own time and on their own terms. A recent article in Melbourne's Age newspaper described how the experience of children's play was being affected by an increasingly risk-averse and litigiously fearful society. Parents' anxieties over perceived and real dangers are preyed upon to the extent that North American scholars Marx and Steeves state that, quote, invading children's privacy is now an imperative of good parenting, unquote. Further studies, such as Holly Blackford's 2004 article in the journal Childhood, discusses Michel Foucault's concept of the Panopticon as a means of surveillance, especially as it relates to children and parenting. Blackford posits that, quote, adult supervision is identified as the supreme mechanism of safety, unquote. Her study analyses the behaviours of both parents, mainly mothers, and children in two very different playground settings, an open space public playground and an enclosed commercialised play space provided by fast food outlets such as McDonald's. Blackford comes to the conclusion that it is the McDonald's playground that actually provides the most opportunity for free play and learning for children because it contains tunnels and other enclosed spaces where parents cannot see them. In this situation, the children can, quote, create their own rules for play and conduct their own social interactions, unquote, without their parents intervening. When kids know that their parents are potentially watching, they tailor their behaviour accordingly. The Panopticon is in practice.
It means you have to be a bit more wary about what you post. And it's like, would you let your grandmother see that? Would you let your mother see that? And so, yeah, it can feel a bit limiting in that respect.
Well, there are measures where I can tailor the audience of every specific post if I'm super worried about privacy.
Is the virtual world, and social media in particular, a site for learning about trust, risk and responsibility for today's children and teenagers? I believe it is, and I'm supported by Tonya Rooney's claims that monitoring youth's online activities demonstrates that they are not trusted. Constant surveillance hinders young people's ability to identify and manage potentially harmful situations. One of the arguments which is gaining more credibility is that children and youth are not as vulnerable and naive as they are made out. Young people are surprisingly good at clicking away from a creepy or horrible page on the internet. Just as a small child learning to climb the ladder on a slippery dip is carefully watched, so should today's teens and young people be able to trust that their parents will be there to catch them when they find themselves out of their depth in their online interactions.